What is going on, everyone? Happy Victory Tuesday. Another Tuesday already. This year's flying by. I'm going to just throw this out there. If anyone wants to do my Christmas shopping for me, I mean, you're more than welcome to have it. Just tell my wife, I'm like, it's already December 9th, December 10th, really. And we have not started shopping at all. Not at all. I don't know that we bought a single Christmas present yet. So the offer stands. If anyone wants to do I'll give you my credit card. Just go buy stuff that you think my family might like. I don't know. Oh boy, the year is really sneaking. I should say Christmas really sneaking up on me. End of year is really sneaking up on me. It's been a busy end of year. So if offers just throwing it out there. Feel free to take it if anyone wants it. Let's get this ticker going. Happy Tuesday. How you guys all doing? It's getting cold out there. We have a snowstorm coming in. I think I saw 5 to 7 inches now. So that'll be fun. It looks like we have a winter snowstorm here in Green Bay in effect until 9 a.m. tomorrow. So I hope everyone's staying safe. I know my friends over in the Minnesota area are already getting hit with it. Yeah, it's I don't know. 'Tis the season, but it feels too early for this kind of snow. Like it feels like the last few years we didn't even have snow on Christmas, and now we've already had multiple snowfalls. So I don't know. It's a good thing. My son enjoys playing with it. We do a lot of sledding, that's for sure. Ron is in the house. Good to see you, Ron, as always. Steve, hola, my friends. Steve, I got to say, I always forget to tell you during the giveaway segment, but your parentheses or your quote in your name always cracks me up. It's always a good time, so I appreciate you throwing those in there. It's always funny. Rowdy's back again. Good to see you, man. Happy Victory Tuesday. Always love a win over the Bears. Amen, my friend. Amen. Heather says the Bears still suck. Love it. Oh, Steve's already coming in swinging with some burning hot questions. Fantastic. I got that one saved. We'll circle back on that. Sounds very corporate talk. We'll circle back. Just circle it back. Can you tell I work in corporate America? Ben says, what's going on, everyone? Ben is back in California after his trip to Green Bay, which he just got back today. He messaged me. So I'm sure you're enjoying the weather there a little bit more, Ben, than what we have going on. Corey checking in from Minnesota. Good to see you, Corey. I don't know if Logan's with you, but if so, good to see you, Logan. Hope you guys are staying safe in that weather. Kirby says, you know what you call a snowman temper tantrum? A meltdown. But I love Kirby, but half of his family has beef with me, and I don't get it. His 4-year-old son, shout out to Cash, wants to beat me up, and now his wife's talking smack about me after I said how great of a name the owners meeting is, and that we were going to steal. Maybe she's mad that I'm calling it the owners meeting without giving her royalties. So maybe that's it. But yeah, half the Kirby household is hating on me. I don't know if I can deal with that. The Tullys are here. Hello. Good to see you guys. As always, we got Christy coming in from Canada. How are you guys? Are you guys getting any snow over there yet, Christy? Alan, awesome victory. Absolutely, Alan. We got Jenny. Welcome to all the fans of the Green Bay Packers and the Green Bay guy. Appreciate you being here as always, Jenny. Ben says it's a bit warmer here than there. Yeah. And then Judith says the Bears still suck. Go Pack, go. She corrected herself. Bears still suck. We got what you're saying. All right, let's do this giveaway link here. If you're new here, if it's your first time here, there is a giveaway link. I post it multiple times throughout the episode. But just enter in once for me, please. If you enter in more than once, then I got to clean it up later on. And when we do the giveaway and it's a mess, you don't have to be here the entire time to win. You just need to be here when we are doing the drawing to win. So just make sure you're checking in occasionally, and hopefully you can get in. And maybe you will be the lucky winner. Kyle, good to see you. Go Pack, go. Appreciate you being here. All right, let's talk about those pesky Bears. Bears fell to the Packers 21-28. They fell to 9-4, while the Packers advanced to 9-3-1 and in first place in the NFC North. You know, the Bears look to be back. They look like a great team. They look like a competitive team. I know a lot of people were dogging them a little bit earlier on in the year for the fashion in which they were winning games, but they were winning. They had a lot of fourth quarter comebacks. They were doing a lot of positive things. I know Caleb's still kind of growing and developing as a quarterback, but man, he is, from a defense standpoint, it is so frustrating playing them because of how much he moves. Dude has to be just spent by the end of the game. He is just running constantly. But they're winning, and Sunday was a battle. It really felt like the first half felt like, okay, maybe you can run away with this, and then they made their adjustments and they made some great ones. But I don't know. I might be in the minority here, but I like when a division is a tough division to win, because I think that whole motto of like steel sharpens steel. I think if you have to play talented teams to make a run at the postseason or to get in the postseason, it's going to hopefully prep you more for the postseason. Now, I kind of say that after last year, thinking the same thing, and then every team in the NFC North lost their first game of the year, or their first postseason game that offseason. So, maybe I'm completely incorrect, but I think it's fun when there is that rivalry, and I think I don't know. I just think it makes the stretch of the season so much more important to kind of get through. And so far, the Packers are doing really well with it. I also think it's funny the amount of Bears fans that came out of nowhere and were trash talking me all week, which I don't generally trash talk a whole lot. I don't believe in. I'll make subtle jabs every once in a while, but I don't trash talk. I think trash talking always comes back to bite you in the long run. Unless you can win the Super Bowl, any trash talk you give, you're going to get back. Even if you beat that team twice, if you make it to the playoffs and lose, they're going to trash talk you, and I just feel like it's a losing cycle. So I don't trash talk much. But the amount of Bears fans that came in and trash talked my page all week, and then now it's like you kind of look silly. You lose the game and now you're just crickets. I'm keeping receipts. We'll see. I might answer some, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I just think that's I don't know. I always think that's an interesting. I don't know. I think it's different when it's like your friends and you're kind of busting balls to your friends, right? You're giving them grief, but I just think it's a weird thing to fight about on the internet. But maybe that's just me. All right. Caleb finished the day 19 of 35, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns, and of course that interception. Like I said, that dude's elusive. That dude's elusive. There's so many times where I thought he was sacked and he just gets out of it, gets away, makes an incredible play. He made a couple of those throws that you're just like, man, those are great throws. Those are ones that the defense could be in the perfect spot and they just make the great throw. And, it is what it is. You hope the next time the Packers play, they don't make those such perfect throws, but that's how it goes. DeAndre Swift led their team in rushing yards, 13 carries, 63 yards, and then receiving Luther Burden III had 4 catches, 67 yards, and then 1 throat choke for 15 yards. How ridiculous was that, by the way? All right, let's see. I'm catching up on some comments. Kyle says, I was nervous till that last play. Yeah, you and me both, man. Colt, good to see you, man. He says, our defense misses Wyatt for sure. That's a big loss. He generates a lot of pressure up that front, and that's a big loss. Swag Coda, good to see you, buddy. Snowing here also in southeast Wisconsin. I don't think, last I checked, I didn't see any snow quite yet, but it might have started since we, started the show, or since I've been down in my basement. Steve says, love seeing all the videos of Bears fans' reactions during the game. So many drop jaws. Yeah, they're enjoyable when it's like, when we're on that side of it. We've been on the other side a couple times, and those are never fun. But when you're on this side, it's fun to watch. Ellen says, big test this weekend. Broncos defense is scary. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Good to see you, Ellen. We during the show, I'll show like the breakdown of like the overall averages, and that Broncos team, they do some really great things. So I'm excited to jump into that. Embarrassing yet still have every excuse in the book. Yeah, I mean the refs were really, I don't know. I'm not one to blame refs on outcomes, but there's definitely a lot of interesting calls in that one. Christy says, no snow yet in Canada. So much rain. I love that it was a competitive game. He reminded us a bit of Mahomes with the running, but bigger body frame. Yeah, he really can get away from the pocket, make some great throws on the run. I know his completion percentage isn't where he probably wants it to be, and his deep throws aren't maybe where he wants it to be, but he makes some great throws. I think it'll be fun to play him a couple times a year. I think, like I said, I enjoy the rivalry. So, our boy Pookie, Jordan Love, finished 17 of 25, 234 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that 1 interception. I will say, after that first drive and they threw that interception, I was immediately a little nervous. Not that I didn't think that like Jordan was going to have this like terrible day, but Chicago's defense generates a lot of turnovers. And I was just like, oh man, is this going to be one of those games where they are just generating turnover after turnover after turnover? It's that kind of seems to happen sometimes in the NFL where it'll just be one of those days where a team just turns over the ball a ton. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. They took care of the ball after that, but we had that promising start to the drive, and that was kind of the case with a lot of them. A lot of drives kind of stalling out is you'd have this promising drive, get going, and then you'd take a big sack. That happened, I think, on that opening drive. Or you would have promising drive, and then you'd have a 10-yard holding penalty, and now your drive's stalling out because you're just getting penalties or illegal formations or these things that kind of seem to be reoccurring things happening for Green Bay. And I'm sure it happens across the league. I just watch Green Bay football more than anything, but those things are frustrating. And it seemed like they kind of worked it out a little bit more towards the end of the first half and into the second half. But I think sometimes those teams, they just get so amped up for these games that it takes them a little bit to settle in. And that's how it kind of feels with the Packers. But they really bounced back, settled in, and Love made some great throws. That one to Bo right before halftime, which I admittedly missed. It was a commercial. I ran downstairs, swap out laundry, came back upstairs, and my wife's celebrating with my son because they scored a touchdown. So I thought I was safe. I thought I had enough time, but just narrowly missed that. So maybe every 2-minute warning or every 2-minute drive before halftime, I'm just going to come downstairs and swap out laundry. Not superstitious, just a little stitious, but definitely a lot of great throws there. The one to Watson as well. Just a couple bombs there, which, I'll take any deep throws like that you can get. There's definitely some great arm talent there. I think I saw the one to Watson. The first touchdown to Watson was a no-look touchdown pass, which is even better. I mean, how do you beat that, right? I think it's like a 30-yard touchdown pass or something like that, but a no-look touchdown pass to Watson. So that boy's special. Jordan does a lot of really good things with his arm, and I still feel like he doesn't get enough credit amongst Packers fans anyway. The next time he throws another shaky interception, you're going to see people like wanting him cut again or something like that. But I know our running joke, we have a group chat that I mentioned before, and our running joke with Dakota is that he wants Sean Clifford back, and that's always kind of a running bit. So Tony said wasn't too happy with Nixon and his penalties, but he made up for it with the interception. Yeah, we're going to talk about Nixon here in a second. Bill, good to see you, sir. Checking in from El Paso. Jordan Love MVP, most valuable Pookie. Love that. Yeah, I'm actually going to be talking about that here in a second, Bill. The refs definitely there's some interesting decisions for sure. Speaking of Christian Watson, well, I guess let me back up. Let's talk about Josh Jacobs first, right? Let's keep it in order. 20 carries, 86 yards, 1 touchdown. And honestly, I think he made the play of the game, saving Matt's tail on that 3rd and 1 pitch. I despise that play call in that situation. Real time, I said some very choice words to myself. I think I said something like stupid effing. And then as soon as I was saying that, well, no, I didn't say effing because my son was there. But I was very I still said some very stern words, probably more quiet to myself. But as soon as I started like going off about it, then Josh made 4 Chicago Bears miss and run upfield for 21 yards. But I was pretty frustrated with that call, and I think that play is probably the play of the game, where if that doesn't happen, I don't know that Green Bay goes for it. And then they try a field goal in a cold weather condition. If they get it, you're giving the Bears a lot of time, which we could not stop their offense. So I don't know without Josh Jacobs if the Packers win that game. Thankfully he got it. And, when it comes to goal line packages, it seems like he's automatic with a touchdown, which I probably just jinxed him now for a future game. But, it seems like when he gets to the goal line, he finds his way to the end zone more often than not. Christian Watson, couldn't be happier for Christian. Earlier this year, January 5th, I believe it was, he had his injuries, was rehabbed very quickly, made a quick bounce back. And to be doing what he's doing already in this year, the same calendar year that he got hurt, is just mind-blowing to me. I think I saw he capped his speed out on that slant at like 21.6 miles per hour. That is a freak of nature. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. To be able to not only bounce back as quick as he did, but to be making the impact he's making on the football field at this rate. And you can see that chemistry with Love too. He is building a really nice rapport with Jordan, and it kind of makes it feel like Romeo might be the odd man out. I know Christian has another contract into next year already, but I would not be surprised if we see him extended off. Like he's not. I don't think he's going to play that contract. I think you'll see the Packers extend him this offseason into the future because he is such a weapon for this offense. And I know a lot of Packers fans were very frustrated with him earlier on in his career. But I'd like to think that maybe they're seeing that maybe they were a little too quick to judge his productivity and what he could bring to this team, because this team is a difference maker with him on the field. Speaking of having people on the field, Jaden Reed, welcome back. They really put him in the game plan that first series. It felt like everything was going to Jaden. That's another weapon that you're happy to have back as well, and I'm looking forward to him continue growing. What was beautiful about having him back, as well as having still having Romeo and Christian back, is you're seeing injuries to Golden's kind of overcoming some injuries. Watson. Wicks is overcoming ankle injury. So you're seeing these guys be able to kind of maybe take more limited snaps because of their injuries to not further injure themselves, which will hopefully pay dividends down the way. All right, let's check these comments here. Chris, good to see you, man. Are you guys getting any snow over there in Missouri? Are you going to have to be doing any plowing? Hopefully not too bad. Sam says, doesn't Watson seem stronger and faster than he was before his massive injury? Yeah, I mean, he really just seems like he's putting in the work. He's been working hard to get his body back, and it shows. And I couldn't be happier for the guy. Really, his downfield blocking, what he brings to this team, what he brings to this game, like he is just such a great weapon to have, and I'm happy he's on our team. Joe says, I hate to see them starting to phase out Romeo. I don't know that they're I don't know if they're phasing him out. I think Jordan and Christian just seem to have that connection. And Romeo will have his day too. You know, the Packers offense, like we've talked about, they are a bunch that you never know who's going to have the day, right? Christian had 2 on Sunday. This Sunday, Romeo could have 2. Matthew Golden could randomly have 2 if he's getting enough playing time. You just never know in this offense who's going to have the day. So I think, you know, there's going to be a couple weeks from now where we're seeing Romeo have big days, and we'll be saying, "Oh, okay, you know, is he going to get the next contract?" So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it seems like his connection with Christian's just growing, and you know, I'm here for it. Talking about another dog, Micah Parsons. Looking, you know what? Watching Micah, especially against Caleb, where he had to run around a lot, Micah always looks like a lion hunting his prey as he breaks out of the group of tackles. He always looks like a lion hunting his prey, and the ability he has to close a gap as fast as he does is so mind-blowing. It is still, every Sunday when I watch him, it is baffling to me still that the Cowboys let him go. As we talked about earlier this year, I thought there would be no way for 2 first-round picks that we would get him. Now we had to throw in Kenny Clark as well, but Kenny's also 30 years old, and I felt like he wasn't really performing like yesteryears for us. And I think both sides are happy with the trade. I think Dallas is happy. They've been able to go out and get some players with that draft capital and do some things, and they're going to have draft picks coming up as well. But I cannot believe they got rid of Micah Parsons. Disruptive across the board, getting held a lot, but that's just the nature of the beast. I know someone was talking about, one of the reporters online I think I saw an article about basically if Micah ever tried to sell the holds more often, he would get the calls more often. But Micah believes in his own abilities so much that he just runs through them to still try to make a play. And I think I'd rather have that dynamic than someone who kind of flops the hold penalty every time. Because Micah's made a lot of big plays by fighting through it. It's frustrating, though. You wish they would call at least some of the really egregious ones. I know you're not going to call every one, and you can look at every play and be like, there's a hold here, but when he's literally getting like choked around the neck as he's rushing the passer, I feel like you should probably be calling these egregious ones. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Let's see here. And then we of course have to talk about Keyshawn. He had a couple mistakes in the game, cost the Packers 30 yards. One of them, pretty ticky-tacky, the penalty where he got choked and then ended up getting a penalty on himself. I understand he went back into the situation and stuff, and the refs are always going to see the retaliation, not always are going to see the initiation. So I get it. But that play where he put the dagger in him, I saw a lot of people are like, oh, of course he intercepted it. It was a duck gifted to him by Caleb. I don't think everyone realizes that was not his assignment. He had been watching film from the previous week where they ran that same thing on the Eagles and had a big conversion. He was covering, I think I want to say it was more on the flat towards the first down marker, and he saw Komet float out behind him, processed what it was, and just fell back to make that play. And without him following those instincts, that's an easy walk-in touchdown. So shout out to Keyshawn. I mean, he hasn't been the most perfect corner this year. He's definitely made some mistakes, had his issues, penalties, what have you. But, if you can make plays where you can make plays, that's, I'll give him props all day. And then we, of course, can't talk that game without talking about the refs, which Bill already alluded to. But I'm still very unsure how that first challenge was deemed incomplete and not an interception. I don't know if you can hear my son's running back and forth right above me. Sorry if you guys hear that. But I don't understand how that was deemed incomplete. I still haven't seen an angle where that ball is touching the ground. I see it come loose. It, kind of Evan jolts it loose. Evan kind of comes away with it, grabs it, holds it up both hands, showing to the ref he has it, and then someone knocks it out. I don't know how you don't say that's a football move if they're saying that it wasn't a football move to be a catch. I still don't understand. I don't know. I don't know that I'll ever get the answer to that. I can understand maybe a little bit more the Luke Musgrave one where they said the ball hit the ground. But listening to Dean Blandino, it was interesting because he's just like, oh my gosh, it's just so close. It's just so close. It's so close. And my thought is they ruled it a catch on the field. And if it's so close, I would think that you would have to keep the call on the field. Unless you saw some egregious thing that showed that it was an overturn. And like I said, I understand a little bit more why that was overturned, but I don't know. There's just a few during the game that I was like, what's going on here? Like these, I don't know. And even if the Packers would have lost the game, I wouldn't be blaming the refs. Ultimately the refs didn't decide that game. They, I would say, called it maybe a little bit more on Chicago's way, but had the Bears scored that touchdown and had the Bears gone for 2 and won that game, because I know they're talking about potentially doing that, the refs want to be the reason that the Packers lost that game. The Packers' inability to, score more points, or the Packers' inability to stop the Bears is more of a concern than, a few calls here or there. It's just kind of how the football goes sometimes. Some teams, some teams just get calls a little bit more their way. But, it is what it is. All right. Sam says, stole this from Andy. If you had to choose one at this point, would you rather have Watson or Kraft? Oof. Let's save that for the burning hot questions. That's a good question. Rob, what's up, man? Good to see you. He says, I'm some reason am more confident in this weekend's game against Denver than what I was against Bears. I don't know why. Man, Denver looks like a crazy team on paper. I haven't watched any Broncos games, but Denver looks like a crazy team on paper. We'll be talking about it here in a little bit. But they look like a great team from an average perspective. While I'm thinking about it, there is that giveaway link once again. If you've already entered for tonight, don't enter again. If you have not entered, you can enter there. Enter for your chance to win a giveaway later on in the show. You don't need to be here the entire time. You just need to be here when we're drawing the giveaway later to claim your prize if you were to win. But don't enter a second time if you've already entered, please. Christy says, my almost favorite moment was after the interception that he went to Jeff in the booth in his face. I don't know that I saw that, but I wish I did. Let's talk about the playoffs. Postseason. As we're getting closer, I don't know about you guys. It is crazy how quick this season is going. We are almost done with football season. And it doesn't seem like it, but we are almost done with football season. We all know the holiday season is going to go quick. Before you know it, it's going to be January. We're going to be in the postseason. We'll fly through those. And then we'll be talking about the Super Bowl. So we're going to blink and it's going to be here. So let's talk where we're at in the playoffs. Right now, the NFC is red hot. We have the Rams in the 1 seed with a 10-3 record. Packers are currently the 2 seed with a 9-3-1. Eagles fell again. They're on a pretty quick descent there, but they are currently 8-5. Buccaneers are 7-6. Seahawks 10-3. That we talk about the NFC North being a competitive division. How about the NFC West? The Rams at 10-3, Seahawks at 10-3, and then 49ers at 9-4. That is, who knows how that one's going to go. Then you have the Bears in that final 7 seed at 9-4, which they were they were the 1 seed last week, and it had dropped the 7th seed after one loss. Just shows how competitive this division is, or this conference is. And then the Bears are in the hunt, currently sitting in the 8th seed at 8-5. As far as the NFC North, Packers number 1, Bears number 2, Lions number 3. Like we talked about, we kind of talked about their records already. Vikings are 5-8. This weekend, it is a tough matchup, kind of all around. You have Denver, Packers going against Denver. You have Bears who are hosting Cleveland. The Lions are heading to LA to play the Rams, which that'll be a great game. Lions and Rams. Stafford kind of playing his former team, which will be great. And then you have the Vikings at the Cowboys. So really, it is a toss-up. I know Shedeur Sanders has been playing well for the Browns, and that team's definitely not a pushover either. I know Chicago, a lot of Chicago fans think they already have that in the bag, but that could be a very tough one. But the Bears look like a legit team. We talked about that last week. I thought, on paper, they look like a very, very solid team. But as far as total percentages, the Packers right now have a 95% chance to make the playoffs. The Packers, actually, before I go through all of these, feel free to start dropping your burning hot questions. Once I talk about these playoffs, we're going to jump into that. So let me start. Could be anything. I know Steve asked about favorite Christmas song. Feel free to drop anything. We can have fun with it. It doesn't have to be football. It could be about life. Could be whatever. But postseason chances, Packers right now have a 95% chance to make the playoffs. They have a 68% chance to win the NFC North as it currently stands. 10% chance to get the first seed. 58% chance to host a wild card, and then 27% chance to make a wild card, and just 5% chance to miss the playoffs. So I like those odds. I'll take those odds all day long, but we do have a tough stretch coming up. Nothing is guaranteed. We have the Broncos, the Bears, the Ravens, and the Vikings. So that is not an easy stretch by any means. No gimmies in there. Minnesota was playing very red hot the other week. So you never know. You never know what's going to happen any given week for a reason, Trying some new decaf coffee tonight. I've never had decaf coffee, but I bought some because I drink way too much coffee and I want to drink coffee at night too. And I'm not sure how to feel about decaf. It feels relatively watery, but I think it's something I can work with. Anyways, that's my random little side note there. But let's see here. Let's get into these burning hot questions, shall we? All right. And before we do, I want to say thank you to my friends over at... Why does this keep doing this to me? Okay, there we go. I keep losing my overlays every once in a while, but there, I figured it out that round. The one time it just disappeared completely. But I want to say thanks to my friends over at Legendaries for making these giveaways. Thanks to my friends over at Legendaries. Mixing up sponsors here. The overlays got me all thrown off, but thanks to my friends over at Legendaries for being proud sponsors of the show. If you are coming into town, like Ben just did, go check out Legendaries. You can buy bottles of their sauces to go. You can order their sauces online to ship to your house. Honestly, I love that place, and I've been supporting them long before they've been supporting the show, and I would not have them as a sponsor if I didn't believe in their products. So shout out to them. I appreciate them immensely. Let's get into this. Ben says, this isn't a question, but Ben says, depending on how the rest of the season goes, I may be back for a playoff game this season if they play the Bears at home. Ooh, that'd be fun, man. That'd be fun. All right, let's get into these here. Steve hit us right away with favorite Christmas song. I have a few. I really like, it's a newer one. I really like, it's Elton John and Ed Sheeran. I want to say it's called Merry Christmas. I don't remember the name of it, but that's a banger. And then I really like the Paul McCartney Wonderful Christmas. I think those are my two kind of go-to Christmas songs. We in our household, we started the Christmas joy a little early. I think we put up our Christmas tree like November 2nd or something like that. So we enjoyed Christmas, that's for sure. Sam says, stole this from Andy. If you had to choose a one at this point, would you rather have Watson or Kraft? Boy, that is tough because both bring so much to this team. I'm gonna just say, hey, I'm happy with what we got. So at this point, I'm happy having Christian. I think Christian takes a lot off the top of this offense. Losing Kraft is so huge, especially in those goal line packages where he would initiate a block and then peel out, and then it would be like an easy check down touchdown. I feel like we're missing that a lot without him. But I'm gonna just take what we have and be happy with it. How's that sound? Chris says, "What's the time frame on Van Ness coming back?" I think he still has a few weeks. He came back against Minnesota for a couple drives and then re-aggravated his foot or had a different injury on his foot. So I think he has a little bit. My hope is that maybe you could somehow luck your way into the first seed, get that bye week, get people rested, and then maybe you can get a lot of these guys coming back. Off a week of rest, and maybe you can get like a guy like LVN coming back and really being well rested for that postseason run. But yeah, that's a I don't know. It's good question. Chad says 100+ degrees with a high heat index or sub-zero temps with blizzard-like conditions. Oh man, can I have neither, Chad? Man, that's tough. I don't know that I want either of these if we're being honest. I feel like I'm cooler with hot temperatures because at night then it kind of chills out and you kind of hang out. Where when it's sub-zero and blizzard-like conditions, you can't really do anything. It's just going to get colder at night. But I generally sleep better in the winter because I keep my house cold. It's easier to keep it cold in the winter rather than always having the AC kind of running throughout the night. So I still think I'm going to go blazing hot, but I feel like both of those suck. Steve says, burning hot question, mayonnaise or Miracle Whip? See, these are the I love the like randomness and the variety of these, so I appreciate you guys. To be honest, I don't really like either. I do a little bit of Miracle Whip on like a deli sandwich every once in a while, but I'm not a big mayo or Miracle Whip person. But I probably would say more Miracle Whip than mayonnaise. Jenny says, does anyone want or think we'll have a snow game before the season ends? The early game, Bills versus Bengals, was so fun to watch. What do we got left as a possibility? Just the Ravens game? So it just have to be the Ravens game, which is either that Saturday or Sunday following Christmas. I personally don't want it to snow too much because I think I might be doing a little bit of traveling around that, but we'll see. We will see. I think we answered best Christmas movie last week, and it wasn't Muppet Christmas Carol. Sorry, Joe. Sorry. Josh says you got that Aaron's snowblower. Nothing will be in your way. For real, shout out to Aaron's. They don't sponsor me or anything like that, but shout out to Aaron's. I love my Aaron's snowblower. When I bought my house, I didn't even own my house yet. Like I had already like purchased it or whatever. I hadn't closed on my house yet. Like all the contracts were agreed to, but I had bought the snowblower before I even had the house because I was like, if I'm having a house, I'm getting a snowblower. Bought an Aaron's snowblower, best purchase I've made. I'll 100% being buying those going forward. Dude, my Aaron's snowblower makes such light work of snow. And then in previous years when we've gotten a lot of snow, some of my neighbors shovel their driveway yet. Like they're healthy people and like the exercise, but sometimes they're not home, like they travel for work or what have you.
So sometimes I'll, like, if we get a really heavy snowfall, I'll go snow blow for them. And it's like, dude, it's so easy. Like, it makes, I absolutely hate shoveling snow. So the snowblower is like chef's kiss to me. Honestly, chef's kiss, best. GBP Daily coming in on YouTube now. Taco pizza, yay or nay? My favorite personally. I am not a taco pizza person. I'm a relatively picky eater in general. I don't do a whole lot of my pizzas. If we could remove a lot of stuff off of it, I like the concept of it. I just don't like black olives and a lot of the like onions and tomatoes and nastiness on it. I'm a pretty plain Jane person when it comes to a lot of my food. Christy says her favorite movie's Fred Claus. I don't know that I've seen that. Is that like the Santa Claus or is that a little bit different? Must be different. Chris, this is a good question. With the Chicago game being on Saturday night, what are the odds that the Ravens game would be as well? Boy, that's a good question. I have no idea what they're doing with that Ravens game. I'd imagine that they're going to have to announce the date and time here soon. My brother has tickets to that game, and he's like, I don't know when I'm going to Green Bay. I don't know when the plan is. He's still trying to figure that out. So it's kind of frustrating that it's a kind of a TBD. So hopefully they get that soon. But I got to be honest with you, I'm kind of sick of the late night games. Even the 3:25 games, I feel like I get pretty worked up for them, and thankfully I can kind of unwind by the time I go to bed. But man, I like noon games. Noon games are nice. They don't like impact my dinner, like my stress levels for dinner. I can watch the game, be done with it, and be on my way. So we have another 3:25 one here. I see, Chad, did I miss one of yours? Oh, you're saying in general. Okay, Jenny's asking about if you meant at a Packers game. If we're taking at a Packers game, 100 plus, or freezing cold and blizzard-like conditions, I'll take cold all day long at a Packers game. I went to Brett Favre's retirement thing. It wasn't his official, like, no, it was. It was just like Packers Hall of Fame and I think jersey retirement ceremony thing. And they sold out the bowl for it. And it was incredibly hot that day. It was like burning hot. And that was a very miserable time to be sitting at Lambeau Field. And I could not imagine sitting at a game where it's like that. The cement bakes, the bleachers bake, everything's just hot coming back up at you. I'd definitely take cold weather for a Packers game over very, very hot. Kirby says no link again. All right, once we get into that, I'll see who hasn't had a chance to enter here. MJ, what's going on, man? Coming in late. What's going on, everyone? Hope you're staying safe out there over the road, man. Cool. We're running quick on time, so we can get into that next segment. But thank you to Legendaries, and thank you guys also as well for all the great comments. I enjoy answering your guys' questions. Chris says, "Did you send the link?" I did. Here's the link again, MJ, in case you need it. I'm not going to be doing the giveaway quite yet. I'm mixing it up. I kind of like the flow of last week where we do the burning hot questions. We talk about the upcoming opponent. We do the giveaway, and then we do the story and get out of here. So let's talk about the Broncos game. The Packers 9-3-1 taking on the Broncos, who are 11-2 and coming off they're on a 10-game winning streak right now, which is absurd. They are crushing it in the games at 3:25 all time. Packers versus Denver. The Broncos lead the series 8-7-1, which includes postseason. Of course, they beat us Super Bowl 32 to get that single postseason win against the Packers. The last time the Packers won in Denver came in 2007 in that Monday Night Football game, which is a memorable one for a lot of people because that is the Greg Jennings down the sideline overtime touchdown catch, which was a highlight of that season. Great play of that season. Great game of that season. think the final ended up being like 19-13. Great game. Hopefully this one's not as stressful. I like games where it's not as stressful throughout the entire game. Like, I was texting the boys and I was like, why do we pick a hobby that's so damn stressful for us? Why do we have to pick something that's so stressful? But let's look at these breakdowns, because I think the breakdown here is interesting. This Denver team might be the most complete team I think the Packers have played. Lions, were really solid as well. But you look at it, and it's kind of back and forth here. Lions had a really good offense, and their defense was kind of lower in the averages. Denver's not that at all. Denver has a pretty solid offense as well with the Packers. And defensively, they are lights out. Denver right now leads the NFL with 55 sacks on the year. They disrupt the passer. And that has been the Packers' kryptonite. That has me very concerned for this game when the Packers and when Jordan Love gets pressured and hit so often, it seems like that's when he gets off of his game. So we're going to see if the powers that be with Toyota Thon and the pass rush, we're going to see what gives first here. But looking at it, I mean, you see the offensive rankings. The Broncos are outranking the Packers in averages. Packers are 13th in the NFL for total yards per game, where the Broncos are 10th. The Broncos, across the board, all of their offensive things, their rushing yards per game is their worst ranking. They're 14th in the league there, where the Packers' rushing yards per game right now is 19th. So they are falling there, which isn't a surprise. Our offensive line has been pretty not great when it comes to the run game. Josh Jacobs and Emmanuel Wilson have been having to do a lot of the heavy lifting themselves. But what is interesting with this Broncos team is how good their defense is, how lights out their defense is. And it comes on the run game for the most part. They are ranked second rushing yards per game allowed, where the Packers right now are 9th in the NFL rushing yards allowed per game on average. So their defense is pretty solid. From a passing perspective, they are 10th in the NFL, but they have that pass rush. They, like I said, 55 sacks on the year. So they generate a lot of pressure on the quarterback. The Packers are really, really going to have their hands full on this one. This Bronco team is looks like the real deal. Now, I think I saw that the Packers are 2-point favorites on this, which is kind of surprising, especially considering it's in Denver. Because looking at the averages, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, the Denver Broncos haven't really played. They've had a little bit softer of a schedule, but I wouldn't overlook that. They're making plays. They're winning games. You don't win 10 in a row on accident. So I would not discredit them by any means. But this one's going to be a tough one. It really is going to be a tough one. Yeah, MJ. Yeah, Broncos are favored by 10, but or a 10-game winning streak, but we're favorited. Yeah, isn't that odd? MJ says Broncos do scare me. I'm nervous about that game. It's going to be a tough one, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Packers just come out and just put it to them and really make a name. Look to be that part as we head in towards the end of the season. But that's going to be a really tough one. Kirby says Love had a Toyota Thon jacket on today while on the McAfee show. Yeah, isn't that? I love that he's leaning into that meme. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. I think it's gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be a good game. I'm hoping that a lot of Packer fans scooped up the tickets prior to the season. A friend of mine is going to the game for the Broncos game, because he said he bought tickets before the season when it seemed like a meaningless game, but he's a Packers fan, so he's going to it. Buckle up here. MJ says 2 stressful games, possibly 3 stressful games in a row. I think it's going to be a stressful rest of the season for us, MJ, but we will see. But yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be, I like having tougher games, because I think when you're having these tougher opponents, it preps you more for that postseason. Unfortunately, sometimes you can get a softer schedule, and maybe you do well and you make your way through it, but then it doesn't, you can't. I feel like you can't go into the postseason after having a soft schedule and just I don't know. I think mentally it almost shifts you. Maybe I don't know. Give me games that you need to win. Give me opportunities that you need to win, and keep going there. Kyle says Matt LaFleur is 21-4 in the month of December. I mean, Matt's record in general is just phenomenal. I think he's the all-time winningest coach in the regular season. We just need to see him get a Super Bowl. Really. MJ says the Vikings game won't be stressful. I don't know, man. I don't know. Just because you beat them once, really, really handedly doesn't mean you're going to do it again. So it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me. But let's get this giveaway going. I know I got to add Kirby here. Who else do I got to add? Anyone else not getting the giveaway yet? Speak now, forever hold your peace. While I'm getting these entries here. Suede Coda. Okay, I see you there, buddy. Let me just get these transferred over here. I gotta look through and just make sure that there's no duplicates. So we can't have duplicates. Cool. All right, got rigged Kirby and Swag Coda. All right. I don't see anyone else saying we need to be added, so we're gonna go with that. We are gonna go with that. I'm gonna get these guys added, get the screen shared. You have like 5 seconds if you have not said you need to be added. So if you, all right. Before we do anything, so maybe you got more than 5 seconds because I got to thank the people who make this possible. So thanks to my friends over at Nicolay Law for making the giveaways possible. Wouldn't be able to do it without them. I say that a lot, but it's true. Without their support, we would not be able to do giveaways every week. So when it comes to injuries, you need a good game plan. That's where Nicolay Law comes in. Insurance companies have their own playbook, and it's usually not in your favor. Nicolay Law helps level the playing field. They are based right here in the Midwest. Russell went to school in Green Bay. Opened his first one in Hudson, Wisconsin. So right here in the Midwest, and they've helped thousands of injured folks get back on their feet. They deal with the insurance companies for you, fight to get you what's fair, and they don't get paid unless you win. If you are injured, get Nicolay. Visit nicolaylaw.com or 1-855-NICOLAY. All right, here we go. Good luck, everyone. What do we got? Oh, that's so close. Alan. Congratulations, Alan. If you are here. Boy, the wheel likes to create some suspense there. Alan, if you're here, give me a number between 1 and 35 and up or down, if you could, please. If you are not here in the next 2 minutes, we will have to redraw. So, Alan, looking for you, buddy. Liz, also, if you are here, I shot you an email today trying to get your address. So get back to me, please, so I can get these out. I owe Luke his as well, but yeah, I keep slacking. I'm gonna get those out this week, I promise. All right, Alan, we're all in suspense. I need to create need to get a timer. That way we can see. I don't know. What's your guys' plans for the holidays? You guys doing anything fun? Going anywhere fun? Anyone going somewhere anywhere tropical? Jay, dude, you got robbed on that one. It was right there. I thought you were winning it, man. It was right there. But Alan was the one. The wheel likes to do that suspense. They really like to do that suspense. All right, Alan, I'm giving you 1 more minute. I don't know if I need to start a timer here. And we're gonna be running another. Giveaway here. We're gonna do 1 minute timer. And if Alan is not here in 1 minute, we are gonna be drawing a giveaway. I got it going. Dakota says he's ice fishing. Bill, you're making me jealous here. 70 degrees, tropical. That is really nice. I am jealous of that.
Christy says we are getting Chinese food, so no one needs to cook. That's awesome. Soy Coda's going ice fishing. Steve says spin it. We got 30 seconds left on the timer. I got a timer going on another window. Just want to make sure, Alan. We're running into it. Alan, last go here, Alan. 20 seconds. 15 seconds, Alan. Oh, that'll be a nice little trip. I'm assuming for work, MJ, or are you just going for fun? All right, Alan. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that scared me. I didn't expect there to be. Whew. Didn't expect to have sound in my headphones. It scared the hell out of me. All right, guys. Good luck here. Sorry, Alan. Round 2. Who do we got? Jay? Is it going to be Jay or is it going to be Ben? Oh, Jay got cheated twice. All right. Ben, I think you're still here, man. 1 through 35, up or down, if you could, please. Congratulations. Jay, sorry about your bad luck. If Ben's not here, you might get it. You might get the third. Maybe the third one's going to be you, Jay. Liz says she didn't get the email. Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think we ran into last year when you won last year that you didn't get the email as well, but I couldn't remember. All right, Ben is here. We got a winner. 28 down. Congratulations, Ben. Great name. Ben went to Legendaries on Sunday, so all right. Yeah, Steve. I saw part of your name. Your Steve put, "I'm here for the giveaways. Actually, here to give Kirby a better chance of not winning." That is Steve's full name in the giveaway. I like that. That's funny. All right, 28 and down. Number 9. That's where we're at, Ben. Number 9. We still have a jersey in here to give away. We still have a lot of 8x10s. I think we have Packer Pro Shop gift cards yet. I don't know what we all have, to be honest with you. It's been a while since I bought stuff. All right, Ben, here you go. Number 9. You got yourself Don Mikowski. Oh, I'm still very small. Hold on a second here. There we go. You got yourself a Don Mikowski. Not that you can see it, but Don Mikowski, 8x10. So I'll reach out to you and get your address. I don't know if I have it from last year or not, but I'll reach out to you, get your address, and get that shipped out to you. Congratulations once again, Ben. Thanks once again to Nikolai Law for making those possible. Like I said, I would not be able to do those without Nikolai Law. So really huge shout out to them. I enjoy it. I hope you guys do enjoy the giveaways as well, and I think they're a fun little way to have do something extra in the show. But as always, I like to wrap up with a story of the week, and this week is no different since I do make these stories into reels and I drop them the Tuesday before game time. I generally try to find something that's close or about our next opponent. So I'm pretty sure I've told this story before. I think I told the story last year, but it's a great one, and I'm going to share it again because I can. So here we go. It's obviously no secret that the Packers and Bears don't like each other. They've been battling it out on the football field for over 100 years. But here's the fun part. Without the Packers, the Bears likely don't exist any longer. And without the Bears, the Packers likely don't exist any longer. And let me explain. In 1932, the Chicago Bears founder, George Halas, ran into some serious financial trouble and ended up borrowing $1,500 from Curly Lambeau, which is roughly about $35,000 in today's money. That loan helped him make Bears payroll, as well as paying any outstanding debts that he may have had. Without it, it's hard to say that the Bears would have made it through that tough financial stretch. And then a couple decades later, George Halas repaid the favor to the Packers. The Packers were trying to pass a referendum to build a new stadium. But support was shaky for the stadium because the team had been pretty mediocre for a couple, for like previous decade, really. So there wasn't a ton of public support for this referendum. It was by no means a gimme that it was going to pass. And Hallis actually showed up to a public rally right before they held the vote and delivered a passionate speech urging people to support their team and vote in favor of the referendum. The referendum ultimately ended up passing, and the stadium that we now know as Lambeau Field became a reality. Without it, the Packers likely would have had to move out of Green Bay, maybe out of Wisconsin entirely, and it's entirely possible that that team would have shut down completely due to those financial hardships that they would have lost out on from not having that stadium. So the next time you see a Bears fan, well, maybe give them a friendly nod. And we can all at least be happy that we're not cheering for the Vikings, right? I don't know. I thought that was an appropriate story to share because last week I had posted on Tuesday. I had posted about the Packers Bears rivalry. Right, we did a story similar about the first ejection from fighting, and the amount of Bears fans that were in my comments like, "Oh well, you know, whenever you guys say that we own you, just know that Hallis borrowed the Packers' money to stay afloat." It's like, no, you had that backwards. So I figured it was a good story to kind of share, to kind of maybe put some truth to it. But yeah, I appreciate you guys immensely. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you all have a good rest of your week. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you guys once again for all the comments, all the interactions. This live show would be nothing without you guys being here, interacting, and having fun with it. Otherwise, I'd just be talking to myself for an hour. So I can't thank you guys all enough. One day I'd like to buy you all a beer. Maybe we'll get together. Owners meeting in person. I'll buy you all a beer. So appreciate you guys immensely. Have a good rest of your week. And let's hopefully be celebrating another Victory Tuesday next week. Hope to see you same time, same place next week. Until then, as always, go Pack, go.